Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Boring Enterprise Nerds Nerdletter Talk. It's quite a mouthful, isn't there, Paul? It's like she sells seashells by the seashore.
You know how they say like naming things is one of the hardest things in computer
Yeah,
science.
yeah,
It's also the hardest thing in like podcasting too, right?
yeah, yeah. But we nailed it. We just leaned into that enterprise and nerds and everything. So again, welcome everyone. So this is a regular video where Paul Moderman and myself, Elena Perfilio, we talk about stories for the upcoming newsletter. So there will definitely be bonus content from me this time, but I'm curious to learn first what Paul has in store for us coming up. So Paul, if
Here
that's
is
okay with
what
you.
I am up to. Okay, so and this might be something that you are
More clean
talking
core.
about too.
Sweet.
This is clean core, but I have a specific thing to sort of think about in this one,
Mhm.
right? So first of all, and I maybe you might mention this too, I'm not sure, but like Devtoberfest, the
Yep.
general like educational universe of like kind of leading up to Tech Ed, this which has been a thing for at least 3 or 4 years now, hasn't it? I
Yeah.
mean, yeah,
Yes, three, I think. Yeah.
yeah, okay. And by the way, shout out to everybody who does Devtoberfest. Like it's really like if you can't afford to go to Tech Ed or you can't afford to like do whatever, like Devtoberfest is a ton of learning. It's like sometimes I'm a little bit of like boring corporate blah 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 kind of stuff like but like generally whenever I've gone and like sort of cherry picked the things that I want to like get out of Devtoberfest. Um Also, I'd love some Oktoberfest too around here.
Yeah, I mean, why not?
Where's my beer fridge? Um, is been like very like really educational and actually people who like because you don't always get this from SAP stuff, but like it's people who actually kind of care about the thing that they're talking about,
Yeah.
right? And you don't always I mean any company has that same problem where like sometimes it's a sales drone who couldn't give a shit about whatever they're talking about, and I hate that. But like this video, Sheena's the introduction person, and then Fabian Fellhauser, I think is or something like that is the name of the guy who actually does the content. Like kudos to you guys, good stuff, really good stuff. So this particular video is kind of reviewing clean core extensibility. It's also a good pick me up for people who have kind of who were accustomed to the old three-tier thing and now kind of want to get their hands on this level ABCD thing. Good stuff in there, all that good stuff. Kudos to them for and Fabian actually takes the time. I hope his name is Fabian. Let me just double check. Well, maybe I'll see it
It
on screen
doesn't
here.
say it's right here in the, I mean, Fabian's
Okay.
name is there. Yep.
Oh yeah, Fabian Fellhauer. Okay.
Yeah.
Kudos to Fabian on that. They do a kind of a review of this stuff, and then they go into this ABAP use cases for Gen AI stuff. And like, this is something that I hope other parts of Devtoberfest cover better as well because I think because I've been going out and I've been doing every now and again I'll talk about like okay guys no plug here I'm just saying I work for a company called Nova Intelligence and I go out there and I do like pitches of like our stuff which is related in the AI space
Mm.
and we always get questions about Joule and Joule for ABAP and Joule for developers and things like that and like I don't think the world has probably seen enough of that stuff yet. I think people need to see, even if the scope is still somewhat limited, like not everybody can kind of actually go do stuff with Joule for ABAP. I think the internet should be flooded with videos and demos of things about this. Like people need to see more of this in action because the questions that I get when they ask about the thing that I'm presenting on tell me that Joule for developers is not clear to them either,
Mm.
right? In other words, if I'm like if you watch me play golf, you'd be like and then you said, "Oh, so this is basketball, right?" Like that would be that's almost what happens when people ask about Joule for developers because they're like it's like they don't quite know yet what it
Mm.
is,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
Mm.
kudos to Fabian for bringing it up. I think the world needs more of it. I hope there's more of it in Oktoberfest. I haven't checked the rest of the schedule. I should. But the other thing I wanted to point out is that there's this bit right here. Um, I kind of excitedly watched this video. Well, I mean, for some value of excited. I don't know if excited is the right word for thinking about clean
Well,
core and S4 and all this, right?
excited as it gets in enterprise software world.
Yeah. I was excited. Yeah, I was excited as it gets, and then I got off work and I did actually exciting things in my life. Um, the like, like this section here, I feel like this was kind of missed in this video. And this is what I wanted to see. So I hope that there's also more DevToberfest content for this here, because I think this, like this chain of things here, ECC to S4, Clean Core, About Cloud, like this thing is still a pretty big thing in the world and is going to keep getting bigger, especially the next couple of years. And like whatever SAP has cooking, if they have something cooking here that's like automating this or like helping you do more things, I want to see more of that too. Because it the people who are making the plans and executing these things, we're still talking about like years long projects to do these things.
Yeah,
And everyone's like, holy shit, when am I gonna have like I'm gonna spend the next 5 years or whatever of my life just like shoveling crap across the field, essentially to this new place.
mm,
Like, what are the tools out there that can help me? And like this, I want to know, I want to understand this. And so I want to see more, want to understand more. That's kind of my key takeaway from this video. And so what I'll do before I do the story is I will also comb through the rest of Devtoberfest and try to connect the dots to more of this right here. If
yeah.
there's anything more about this in there. And again, I haven't even reviewed the schedule yet. And by the time our issue goes out, there might still be things that haven't published yet in Devtoberfest, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I
So,
think the event itself should be done. But yeah, there might be
okay.
some delay in just sharing
Oh,
something.
yeah. Okay.
I yeah, just wanted
Yeah.
to kind of along the same line like you when I see that and actual transform. So I'm like, oh, so there will be some kind of automation. But then at the same time, I feel, I mean, not necessarily skeptical, but more like maybe just practically informed about this process because I think the lowest hanging fruit has already been picked up even before Joe started because this
Yeah.
custom code migration app that's been around for a while, ATC, that ABAP test cockpit. I still have no idea why it's actually called like test cockpit. It doesn't
Yeah.
test
It's
anything.
weird.
It's not a cockpit even,
It's
but
weird.
that's that's what ATC kind of disabbreviates to. And that's been around even longer. And it's nice that there is additional functionality added to those existing tools, but then like what exactly ABAP Joule is gonna add to that? I mean, are they just gonna
Yeah.
slap like chatbot interface on it? That's
This
honestly, I mean,
is,
it's convenience, but like not like transformations.
yeah. And
Yeah,
this is my question here too, because like, is this little slide here saying to me that in the transform space,
mm,
SAP intends to deliver ATC and the custom code migration app? Is that what this slide is saying? Because those are already there. So like, what
yeah,
else is this? The other thing, again, this is not a plug, whatever. Like that top half of this slide, ECC to S4, Clean Core, ABAP Cloud,
yeah,
like that's what Nova does in terms of actually planning and executing that stuff. And I
mm,
gotta say, it's really hard to do
yeah,
this.
yeah,
It's really hard to
yeah,
actually create automations. So like I really do want to see what SAP has to say about
yeah,
this. And both personally and professionally speaking, I'm just curious, right? So
yeah.
anyway, this is what I'll chase down. I'll first of all kudos to the people who did this video because other than skipping this a little bit, I did really find some educational value in the other pieces.
Yeah.
Um, and so kudos for that.
I do have a suspicion that might turn into a prediction. I have a feeling that SAP marketing simply tries to drag this transform piece into Joule conversations. And again, I don't know if Joule, if there's someone just essentially going to bolt up Joule on this and say, okay, nice, we have Joule, our mission accomplished. But
Mm,
it does have a feel to me like like technology person starts talking about something and immediately marketing, oh, we also have this old crap. Can we also bring this
Yeah.
old crap into this new stuff to make it more
Yeah.
exciting? And then the technology person like, okay, fine. I put it on the slide, but really they don't feel passionate about it, so they end up not even talking about. I wouldn't be surprised. And again, it's
Yeah.
not even criticism, but guys, just keep it real. Then keep your expectations low. That's
Yeah.
that's a way to not be disappointed. Awesome.
Okay. Second thing, as always, I'm Mr. AI guy. Um, there is this category of like AI native ERP is starting to pop up more and more
Yeah.
here, right? And so this one is a pretty big deal because this one they just announced a raise of $90 million from some like Silicon Valley-ish
Mm,
Google Ventures, Coastal Ventures, Lightspeed. Very like if you watch the show Silicon Valley, those are all like Sand Hill Road kind of things. You know what I mean?
yeah.
They're doing the negging shuffle where they go in and they say bad things to the VCs and then they give them progressively higher like numbers or whatever. But like that's what this is here. Like this is kind of buried in there. And like I tried to read through all this stuff for 20 minutes or so like the other day as I was kind of gathering information for kind of what I wanted to write about. I as a techie nerd person, I couldn't quite figure out exactly where the AI native piece of this
Yeah.
is, right? And maybe more investigation will show that, but like powered by custom AI models, like isn't enough for me. Like I want to know what is AI native about this in more
Mm,
detail. And maybe it's there and maybe it's visible, but I wasn't able to like find it on a quick glance. So I will be searching around and finding out more about that because like the thing is like this is clearly part of the part of the world, the part of the techie space that kind of believes the AI hype, right?
mm,
And I mean, honestly, I'm sitting there too, but I'm just being real about it, right? Is that like they there's a perspective here that's like AI is going to swallow this ERP category somehow, something like that.
yeah.
And I I kind of want to know how their plan is to do that right now and
Yeah.
in the future.
I
And so that's
yeah.
not clear to me, and I want to find out more.
I do see immediate analogy with old cloud native. Remember how
Mm,
that was all talk
I
of the
remember that.
town just a few
Yeah.
years ago? And I think what that in essence kind of ends up meaning, it's cloud native, let's say like app or technology, is just something that did not exist before. So it's cloud native because that's where it starts and where it takes root. It doesn't automatically mean that it's great, to be honest. It's just new, and as we
Mm,
know, new can be great, can be good, great,
yeah.
whatever, but it could also be like, okay, not necessarily great. I mean, people come out with new things and then just drop them and create better new things, or
Yeah.
reuse old things or
Yeah.
whatever. So
Yeah.
so this native part, I think, again, someone from marketing feels it's creates some excitement, but I mean, it was ancient Egypt had like ancient Egypt native stuff. It's it's just, I mean, it doesn't really mean anything, to be honest. Like you said, there must be more to it than just claiming nativity. So
That's what we need is we need like the Pharaoh native ERP,
yeah,
right?
pharaoh native,
So
yeah.
you could like you could build the next Great Pyramid or whatever. Be like,
Exactly.
wow,
Yeah,
us
forget
correctly
pharaoh
when we
native, like
built this
Caesar
pyramid.
natives. That's the next big thing in enterprise software. So,
The only other
oh
thing
my
I noted about
goodness.
this website is that they have this little display thingy here with this laptop and this phone.
Yeah.
Like this laptop has like no edges on its screen. Where I want that laptop right there.
The,
Who has that?
yeah, yeah,
I'd be curious. Yeah. Okay. So that's that. Um, and so ERP and AI is still coming in because I can't stop myself. I just think about this more and more. Acumatica, which you and I we did a
yeah,
video or
yeah,
a
yeah,
podcast about this a couple of years
yeah.
ago. Um, and I haven't kind of returned too much to Acumatica world since then. But just like Workday, just like NetSuite, just like Oracle, just like all the other players from top to bottom in ERP category, really like coming out the gate strong with like AI stuff. There's like an AI studio that's going to be part of their their venture. John Reed over at Diginomica uh, talked to this CPO guy who is kind of running the show in terms of these new features. Um, and a lot of details here. It's got some of these like I don't want to say weasel words, but it's got the like yeah, but what do you mean by this, right? So like changing and democratizing ERP as a whole. Like
Mm,
what is what does that
deep,
mean?
deep.
Like
Yeah,
whoa. Whoa, like if I was smoking a J right
it's
now,
like,
I'd be like, whoa, whoa.
yeah, dude.
Guys, wait. What if we democratized ERP? Whoa! Pass the Cheetos or yeah. Um,
Oh my goodness.
so there's something there about the only other thing I note about this is that like fortunately or unfortunately for them, they named their release R2. And I was
Nice.
like I was like, guys, don't go down that path. Don't go down that path.
Only 20 years to S for HANA or whatever.
Uh,
Yeah, it was funny.
Anyway, that's what's kind of bubbling inside my head right now. So I will stop sharing and the floor is yours, madam.
Awesome. All right. Let me share my stuff. So I have just bonus content galore. So I started.
Just bonuses all over the
Yeah,
place.
it's funny because just like a few days ago, I started with the subjects. I'm like, okay, well, let me just find more information, and suddenly that just exploded into all
I
this
see
time.
I see a bonus thing here that I bet you I will like too.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
go ahead.
That's actually for you. So just a little like jumping ahead. I thought to share this just with a poll, but I'm like, okay, we're doing this recording anyway, so why not just at least start talking, and record it? Maybe other people find it interesting as well. So that's just huge bonus only for the Platinum Plus subscribers. So if you're not Platinum Plus tier, we will kindly ask you to stop watching at that
Just
point.
just do like this while we
So
talk about the
yeah, yeah,
platinum stuff and then we'll yeah.
so yeah, cover your gaze. So okay, so first subject, I started with this ACE ABAP Code Explorer tool that the author, let's see, I think I got his name somewhere. Okay, not showing here, but yeah, there is a real person. Oh, yeah, Yuri Suchov. So he shared this on LinkedIn, and I think it's an interesting tool. Uh, the what it does, it's I mean, I haven't really kind of installed it and explored it myself, but I looked at it like, that that kind of looks neat. So it relies on
Mhm.
mermaid diagrams to do uh, ex kind of explosion and exploration of the code using more like visualization methods. To me, it seems interesting approach. I think people kind of like mermaid diagrams. I had
Yeah.
this experience myself when I showed it to like non-techie people, and they're like, yeah, like this is like nice, and
Hmm.
people like visualize things. So I
Hmm.
think it
Hmm.
has all the at least the beginnings of being potentially really neat tool. And coincidentally, I've even written about mermaids and unicorns and about blog posts from Michael Keller
Mm.
from it was a while ago. So this is issue 16. This is like ancient
Wow,
history
that's
of our
wow.
enterprise newsletter. We were way ahead of time. So I finally mermaid is catching on. So it's really cool to see this tool. However, there is even more to that. So when I simply started searching for something related to this to add to my story, and purely by accident, I stumbled upon this collection. I've somehow never really heard about it, even when I looked at contributors like Dominic Panzer is here. I'm like, Dominic, why, bro? Like, why didn't you tell me about this? Your contributor, and we had a podcast with him as well. So, what this is, it's so there is nerdletter.abap.org, which is a website which I think Lars set up, which has everything that's on
Mm.
GitHub for ABAP. So that is collection of everything and anything that's ABAP related, and it's now up to 300 plus projects, which is just great explosion. What this is, it's more like categorized library of ABAP tools, which doesn't have all the 300 pieces there, but I really like the categories because
Yeah, that's nice.
it's kind of organized in a different way. I mean, it's not meant to compete with what Lars put together. It's just different way of doing kind of, I don't know, organizing and looking and searching for the content. So I really like that they have all these categories and also descriptions. And I found some things there that I also didn't know existed. So very cool collection, guys. And I think that I'm gonna write not just about this tool, but probably about this way as well. So it's more like
Mm.
from just one tool, it kind of exploded into ABAP tools and stuff. All right, so that will be the first story. So
That's
second
cool.
one, it started again with this video. So I definitely, I think everyone should just watch this video because Andrei Karpathy, he's behind the software development at Tesla. Yeah, founding member OpenAI, just really cool presenter and speaker,
He's so great.
which is rarity for developers. And I especially appreciate that he is from slightly younger generation because there are many great speakers, but they are more from like people moving kind of towards retirement. So, and
Mm.
it's not really kind of negative, but the way they look at things, it's more from like top of the mountain of wisdom and just observing from that way. While Andre is still kind of, I think, still very much in the middle of it. So his point of view is just slightly different. And I really
Mm.
appreciate his perspective in this. And comments on this are just overwhelmingly like, yes, like finally someone explained it clearly, etc., etc. I honestly haven't even finished watching this in entirety
Oh,
because I just kept
this is such a great video. I've watched this
yeah.
one. Oh,
Oh, okay. Yeah, because
yeah.
I was like, yeah, like I'm like, okay, I found the point I want to make notes. So it kind of almost kept like interrupting myself doing that because my mind just kind of started going places. But eh,
So
yeah.
by the way, did you know, I don't, maybe you already knew this.
Mhm.
Andre is the guy who invented the term vibe coding.
No, no, I didn't.
Yeah, one of his tweets, he
Mm,
talked about like this is back in like January or February or something like that. So it's
mm,
like ancient history now in AI world, right? He put out like one of those longer tweets, and he kind of rolled the term vibe coding out there, and that's
mm.
where it picked up is from him. So
Okay.
like kudos to Andre. But I mean, and Andre is not like some kind of like Kool-Aid drinker of like everybody should vibe
Yeah,
code everything right now. He's very like he like put it in a category of like this is how you do this kind of thing,
yeah,
right? Yeah,
yeah.
anyway, God, he's so man, that guy's so great. Ugh.
Yeah, yeah, because when I just saw this video, I and it popped up on my feed, and I'm like, there's gonna be one of those again, where tech bros are just, blowing smoke up their ass, but it's just totally opposite of that style of video that's out there. So yeah, definitely recommendation to watch this in its entirety to everyone who's interested in development because Andre has many good thoughts. And not all of this obviously is going to apply to the SAP world because he talks about what like software 3.0 and I'm like, did I miss like 2.0? And I looked at it and it kind of truly almost is like that because in his 1, 2, 3 designation, one is that's what we do in SAP in ABAP. It's like kind of
Yeah.
procedural rule based, and 2.0, it's more like neural networks. I'm like, we never we didn't get to that in SAP world, which
No.
is okay. I mean, but and now there is three, so now we're even more behind. But one specific point I like from him that he talks really in a very kind of reasonable and chill way about using AI as tooling instead of like, oh my God, panic or like, oh my God, if you're not like doing AI, you're like way behind or
Yeah,
something.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
and so slightly kind of side point, So Gero Armina, he started very interesting discussion on LinkedIn. He asked people to share what are they doing in with AI tools in terms of web development. And I shared my experience, but there were also very interesting comments from others. And range is usual, like LinkedIn, from like just
Slop
to
town.
yeah, to really
Yeah.
interesting observation. So I will probably have a link to this as well. So if you're interested in the subject, just go read through posts and comments and see
I need
what
to
others are
I
sharing.
probably need to go weigh in on this one like
Oh yeah,
in the
yeah.
next 10 minutes.
Yeah, feel free to jump in, and I'm sure LinkedIn is going to surface this to someone because that's what it does. So
Yeah.
third subject that's totally non-technological, but I felt I should really kind of write about this because it's near and dear to my heart. So third subject is micromanagement, and I'm sure everyone who works in IT experienced that at some point, and the whole cult movie Office Space, it's kind of distillation of micromanagement as one part of it, and it's been known as an issue for a very long time. Um, I found it peculiar that so management is typically something that you find in like management literature, and this one is peculiar because it's at least to me this is only kind of management style that's actually being explored by psychologists and psychiatrists, and not as an interest in management, but because of terrible effects that it actually has
Yeah.
on people.
Because
So
yeah, they're not
yeah,
studying it because it's really great. They're studying it
yeah,
because
yeah.
people are like hating it so much
Yeah,
and it's
exactly. And
harming them.
yeah, and I'm sure there are studies of like psychiatry of management practices as behavior maybe interest or something like that. But this one, there are truly like clinical articles studying effects like it's PTSD. So it's and to me, it's honestly that's effect that it has on people, and there are even questions whether this is a form of bullying in a way, and I kind of do agree to that as well. But I mean, everyone knows it's bad, but I think many people don't even realize how exactly bad it is because it's not just honestly derailing your projects. It's making lasting long term effects on humans that are subject to it. So I definitely want to kind of speak up as one of the former victims as well. And this is another article from this is again more like what I would expect, like Harvard Business Review to chime in on
Yeah.
management. But
Yeah.
this is really interesting thorough piece. It's pretty long. I surprised it's actually free. You can read it in its entirety.
Hmm.
It goes really deep into exploration, like where is this coming from, and yeah, also talking about psychological effects on it and neurological effects on it, etc. So really interesting piece. All right, so that's all for the stories, and now I have like whole two
Even
bonus
more
pieces.
bonus.
So even more bonus. Okay, so Platinum Plus. This is for you only. Everyone else get lost.
Close your eyes,
So
close your
yeah,
ears, get
close
lost.
your eyes and go
Or
watch like some
pay your subscription fees, guys.
yeah.
What are you doing? Yeah.
All right, hit the button and yeah, pay for subscription right now to get immediate access. So this is just a very short observation that I don't think there
Mm,
is like deeper subject to it, but I still wanted to share with you. So there was some news that Accenture was laying off people,
mm.
and the reason that they gave it's like these people cannot be retrained for AI. And there was a, as usual, LinkedIn the litany of articles and bloviating and just trying to opine on this, trying to farm engagement, etc. But I really appreciate what this guy brought to the
Yeah.
conversation. He's like, okay, they're laying off people. Okay, so explain what that means. And
Yeah.
like it's like option A, your elite recruiting process it hired a bunch of people too stupid to adapt to writing prompts,
Hmm.
but you're billing them out at high rates anyways. So that
Hmm.
is a really good point. And second, yeah, market is in recession, and you needed to shed wages. So I really appreciated this concise point, and yeah, your customers are dying to know. I do think honestly, customers should probably at this point maybe make those big consulting and tech firms honestly accountable for their
A hundred
practices
percent.
in some
A
way.
hundred
So
percent.
if you're a customer, I don't know, if you're thinking about supporting one company or another, that's probably something to take into
Mm,
considerations, because there is always much more to this layer of news. And I think Eric got it, honestly, got it very much right here. And it's not something that people would speak out about. So
yeah.
kudos to Eric to for
Yeah.
speaking out.
Nice.
And yeah.
The other thing I'll just briefly mention about this
Hmm.
too is I posted this on a couple of Slack channels I was in just to talk, and somebody responded reminding me too that like to Accenture, 11,000 people is like
Like,
me forgetting to get my mail one day,
yeah,
right? It's like
yeah,
not, it's like that's a lot of people,
yeah,
but like if your company employs like 850,000 people,
yeah,
that's that, take that into account here,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So yeah, the
Yeah, it's like
like
single
yeah,
digit percent. So,
yeah.
well, yeah, still people.
The
So,
says though that's what I mean though is like it's to those people there's
yeah,
11,000 people doing whatever.
yeah,
To Accenture, it's like they could like they don't care.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yep,
Yeah.
yep. This is an interview from Dwarkesh Patel. It's again one of those channels where I had no idea it existed, but it has like million subscribers.
Oh my
And
gosh. Dwarkesh
Richard's.
is my favorite. I
Oh,
love
really?
Dwarkesh.
I like.
By the
I
way,
had no idea. I
by the
just.
way, yeah, no, random side note.
Mm.
Somebody I work with was Dwarkesh's roommate
Oh,
briefly.
okay.
So
All
anyway, yeah,
right.
just
All
a
right.
thing.
So
Yeah.
small world.
Yeah, small
So
world.
so so Dwarkesh has a channel that, I mean, that's it's a tech themed channel where, and
Hmm.
he's decent interviewer. And
Hmm.
yeah, and I appreciate this really long, that's over an hour video, really in-depth conversation. He has really exciting guests. So Richard Sutton, it's not the name that I had like at the top of my mind, but I did hear about him before, but honestly didn't really connect
Hmm.
him to AI world at all.
Hmm.
So he's what he's called like father of RL, and RL is L stands for learning. I already forgot what it is.
Reinforcement learning is RL.
Reinforcement. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So okay, so their word. So so in this interview, they talk about kind of LLMs, and Richard speaks from his perspective of more like learning expert, I would say,
Hmm.
rather than computer science expert. At least the part of conversations that I watched. I'm sure they might go into depths again. I haven't watched the whole thing, but I wanted
Oh
to
yeah.
just share this with you
I can give you
because
some
it's
more
really
context
good.
too, because
Oh,
I watched this one with
you watched
great
again?
interest. So
Okay, all
yeah.
right, all right. So, so let me just finish my
Yeah.
thought,
I don't
and
want to interrupt
yeah,
you though.
we'll
Yeah.
circle back.
This is what I said I was really excited about when you
Oh,
showed it.
okay, so all
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
so all right, so we circle back to Poland. So just very quickly, um, one quote I picked up from Richard, which I honestly am just gonna use it every time. So he says, "Goal is an essence of intelligence," and I was like, "Yes." I mean, finally,
Mhm.
because every time we see those questions, I'm like, "Well, what is your goal?" And if goal is missing, I think in a way, intelligence is missing
Mhm.
from the effort or question or conversation. So again, this is, I think, there is more like deep conversation material. So I'm gonna stop there and open the floor to you, Paul. What do you feel?
So this is one of those things. So first of all, I just loved Rakesh's podcast because
Mm,
he has talked to like he has been able to for somebody who didn't start out like as a famous celebrity,
mm,
he's been able to like bag all of like a ton of big names. He had Mark Zuckerberg on his
mm-hmm,
podcast.
mm-hmm,
He had Ilya Sutskever, who probably takes a somewhat different perspective on this than what Rich Sutton does.
mm-hmm,
He had Dario Amodei, who is the CEO of Anthropic. He's had just a number of really great people, and he's also wandered outside of AI too. He's not just an AI guy.
mm-hmm,
But Dwarkesh is kind of like he's young enough that like a lot of his experience of AI
mm-hmm.
has been the large language model world. Not all
Yeah,
of it. He's very conversant in many aspects of it. He's not like he only thinks LLMs are the only thing.
Yeah.
But like in his lifetime, LLMs have been a much bigger thing than for Rich Sutton. So so Dwarkesh, like that's kind of probably where they started to wander apart a little bit, and it took
Mm-hmm.
a while to kind of get back to some other things. Um, I don't know if you maybe you knew this already, maybe you didn't. If you've heard of the bitter lesson, have you heard of that?
Mm-hmm.
There's a very famous essay in the AI realm. It's called The Bitter Lesson,
Mm-hmm.
which is the gist of it is that AI researchers and machine learning researchers um, often kind of get wrapped up in these really like trying to be extra clever with their
Mm-hmm.
algorithms and clever with their learning processes and things like that. And then they inevitably become eclipsed by neural networks and learning things that are just bigger. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so the bitter lesson is you can be as clever as you want to be, but if you just scale up and go bigger, you're going to wind up coming around to like a better version of whatever that thing is.
Mm-hmm.
But that's there's a lot of nuance in there because Rich Sutton is a very experienced and knowledgeable reinforcement learning person. He's not saying just dump things into a pile as big as you want and you'll
Mm-hmm.
automatically get better. He's saying let the network and let the learning take care of it rather than trying to be
Yeah.
clever about how
Yeah.
you do that stuff, right?
Yeah.
So in so it's called the bitter lesson, and a lot of the AI people these days, AI Twitter anyway, will use terms like bitter lesson pilled, you know, like red pilled or
Mm-hmm.
black pilled or whatever, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
bitter lesson pilled essentially means just like just make it bigger and it'll get better. And in a lot of ways, it winds up being true.
Mm.
So in this episode of the of Dwarkesh's podcast, Richard Dr. Sutton, I think he's a doctor. He's probably a doctor. He's like famous computer
Probably
science guy.
multiple
I'm just
times.
going to say Dr. Sutton. Let's see if that's true or not.
Yeah.
He's also a Turing Award winner too, by the way, so that's
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, he uh he very much pursues this path of like the best way to do learning is this goal-based stuff. Like reinforcement learning is all about like getting much faster and richer feedback
Mm.
than the kind of learning that happens in like pre-training of like the large language models,
Mm.
which does not have that like really great like reinforcement learning quality to it. So one way to think, I've been thinking about this a little bit. One way to think of reinforcement learning is in a like super simple analogy, doesn't hold water under all the tech, but just an analogy would be like, have you ever played the game Hotter and Colder or Hot and Cold, where like you're in a room and your goal is to find
Oh,
something that
yeah.
the
Yeah.
and
Yep.
they just say all they do is say hot or cold.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like it's shocking how fast you can find something
Yeah.
if the only feedback you get is whether or not you're closer or further
Yeah.
away.
It's like Minesweeper in
Yeah,
a way.
that's kind of like reinforcement learning,
Yeah.
where like you can get a reward very quickly and very granularly for the
Mm.
things that you're doing. And so it's very easy to have like a very fast feedback loop that like you very quickly converge on like the thing you need to do that thing.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Um, and so part of what Richard Sutton here is saying is that like because we animals are very good at learning a lot without nearly as much training as like the LLMs have
Yeah.
is because like our goal directedness like kind of slides into the reinforcement learning paradigm there
Mm.
and gives it like we have much better feedback mechanisms for our stuff, which makes it so that like a couple pounds of like goo, right, can do stuff that LLMs can't hope to do yet.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, my read on Dwarkesh is that like it just took him a while to get back there. But what I wanted to show you, because I could go on about this for days, but what I wanted to show you is that like a lot of people actually kind of had reaction to this, including Andre
Oh,
Karpathy.
our dear
Like
friend.
so like totally completing the circle here. Andre kind of he did a lot of explaining of the bitter lesson Rich Sutton's
Mm-hmm.
yeah stuff. And so like both Dwarkesh and Doctor the esteemed Dr. Sutton have also like tweeted like longer things saying
Mm.
that this was actually a really good conversation. It was collegial.
Yeah.
It was like push back and forth
Yeah.
on an
Yeah.
idea and not be like jerks about it, but
Yeah.
like try to get that understanding. And it came out really, some people thought it came out very combative. I just think it came out like collegial, like or academic or however you want to put it. Like it was very much like let's try to find what we're talking about here.
Mm.
And so Dr. Sutton's perspective is like he's got a much longer history with AI, reinforcement learning, all this kind of stuff, and he's bringing that all of that history to the like our narrow slice of like language model time that we're in now, and whether those things like are simpatico. And part of his
Mm.
perspective is that like what language models are doing isn't really learning, and what language models know, they don't really understand.
Yeah.
Like I would have to go again, like smoke a J at a campfire to like figure out whether I think a language model can understand things. I don't even know whether it can or I like I think
Mm.
about that all the time. Um, but anyway, so I've gone on for much longer than I should have about this, but
No, yeah, 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 it's
this is the
really,
thing
yeah, it's
here.
interesting. I would just add that the only beef I I have this with this video is it was more like a podcast format, really,
Hmm.
where people just kind of have dialogue, exchange ideas. I honestly, I wish and like just let the man speak. Just I would have loved for that to be just a plain interview, to be honest.
Yeah.
And interviewing, that's also Lauren's skill,
Hmm.
which I I wish I was better maybe at
Mm.
myself, but that's something that people learn in journalists, professional journalists, they learn that
Yeah.
at school. So I wish some people would have that, and if there was just purely interviews that would just give us more kind of like inside of Richard Sutton's world. And
Mm.
while you were talking, I looked up. Yeah, he's definitely doctor, even though like many people of his stature, is he doesn't insist on going by doctor.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and he works as a University of Alberta in Canada as a professor, which kind of surprised me. We always think all of the greatest minds are in the US, but there's some in Canada as well. So really, I mean, huge opportunity for his students. I mean,
Yeah. No
damn, it's
kidding.
like
Yeah.
I can't imagine what that would be like. So
Yeah.
yeah, really awesome video. And any more thoughts, Paul? I know I'm at risk of more like 30 minutes of recording
No,
time, but any
I'm stopping
okay,
all
right.
diatribes right now.
All
All
right.
done. Yeah.
All right. All right. It's like that Soviet comedian said about the home renovation. It cannot be completed. It can only be stopped. So I think it's the same goes about our conversations. So
Yeah.
we're just going to stop the recording and Paul and I are just going to go on for half more hours for of the record. So that's it for today, folks. And watch out for a newsletter with this amazing stories and just join us in a few more weeks for another conversation and
Hmm.
for more of like show and tell and podcast videos. Check out those too. And honestly, I think like people like Richard Sutton should maybe go, join us for conversation. I was looking like damn, like Paul and I would do much better job like just interviewing and talking to this person than like move over like Dwarkesh, like move, just let us drive that. So yeah, totally like reach out to us if anyone is interested in conversations like that. So thank you everyone for watching and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.